this was recording. I really want to make sure that that everybody is exposed to this entire series on authenticity that we were supposed to have, but now we get to do it in actually a lot better way, because we're going to have you guys all recorded and we're going to have a whole series filled with authenticity. So with that in mind, I want to introduce you guys to John. John, you go ahead and just take the stage and run it for the next hour. So welcome, please.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm grateful to be here. Carol is saying a lot of nice things about me. Hopefully I can live up to that standard. I hated I couldn't be with you all. Was that a month ago, Carol, for the Page 4 event?
Yep, that was actually, it was September 6th, no, 7th and 8th, or 8th and 9th, 8th and 9th. Yeah. So yeah,
I hated to miss stupid COVID. So you may catch me kind of trying to catch my breath every now and then. I'm still trying to get my lungs back into shape. It kicked my butt pretty good. So anyway, I'm grateful to be here, and hopefully I can add some really good value to you. I want to be really tactical, but at first, let's talk about a couple of things. What you're doing right now is you're formulating your opinion of me, consciously, subconsciously, whether you realize you're doing it or not. You're trying to decide, do I trust this guy? Do I like him? What is he trying to get from me? Do I have a connection to him? Do I like the way he sounds? Would I want to be friends with him? Do I trust him? Or is he just another one of these guys that's trying to fill us full of a bunch of bull and a bunch of BS? And you, all of us, for the 9 months in the womb to your entire life up until this point, you have developed an incredible skill to be able to spot a fake like that. We are the most marketed to society that has ever existed. You are able and gifted to be able to spot a phony and be able to trust your gut and intuition to decide if this person's being real, if this person's putting on a show, if I should trust him, if I like her, or what are you trying to get out of me? 9,000 to 15,000 times a day, you are seeing visually or hearing audibly an advertisement or a piece of marketing that is trying to get you to do something, whether it's a billboard as you drive by, it's a Facebook ad, it's ads that you see on YouTube as you're trying to watch a video, whatever it is, while you're scrolling through Instagram or you are streaming on Hulu, you can't get away from the advertisements. And it's been going on your entire life, which all of that has gifted you with the innate ability to be really, really good at discovering and identifying BS. You intrinsically know, should I trust this person? Now, of course, every now and then somebody's going to fool you. Someone's going to manipulate their way into convincing you that you should trust them or that what they're trying to sell you is really good. It happens. But for the most part, you are skilled, more skilled than any generation that has ever lived or any society or culture that has ever gone before us at being able to decipher if this person is full of it or if they're not. And things like multi-level marketing has made this worse for us, and unfortunately has infiltrated real estate. I'm not going to name any names, but you all can figure out what I'm talking about. It's the whole bait and switch method of, hey, let's go to lunch. I would love to take you to lunch. And then the entire time I find out that you're trying to get me to sell Cutco knives or join Scout and Cellar. Nothing wrong with MLM. There's nothing wrong with it. But a lot of those tactics have continued to perpetuate into our minds. Oh, I don't know if I should trust this person. Are you being real with me? Are you being genuine? How do I know if I can go on a journey with you or not? And clients do the same thing with you. Consciously, subconsciously, do I trust you? Are you wanting to go to coffee with me just so we can talk about real estate, or do you really care about me as a person? And what has made this whole should I trust you or not thing much more challenging is really what has happened recently in our culture and our society. You have this scientist saying X, Y, and Z about COVID, and you have this scientist saying ABC. They're both scientists. They're both well-renowned. They're both well-researched. Who do I trust? This politician is saying this is the truth, and this politician is saying this is the truth. This expert is saying this, and this expert is saying the complete opposite. This real estate coach says you have got to use this method or you're crazy. And this real estate coach is saying that's an antiquated way of doing the business. You've lost your mind if you're trying to do real estate in this manner. They're both successful. They're both well-renowned. Who do I trust? Should I trust you? And so even in the first 6 minutes that I've been talking, you've been formulating your opinion of me. Some of you are wondering, what is John trying to get from me? Because you've been burned so many times, and people who have seemed really genuine have pulled the rug out from under you. Some of you are saying, you know what? I like him. He's a little intense for me, kind of annoys me. Some of you are saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm in tune with this guy. I'm vibing with this guy. And you know what? We're skeptical, and we should be. We're constantly scanning and searching who's being real and who's being fake. And I think that if you've been in real estate long enough, you know, you have experienced that real estate is full of a lot of fake and a lot of BS, right? A lot of bloviation, a lot of pretending to be something that we're not, the whole fake it till you make it mentality. So we see these other influencers on Instagram and we're like, oh my gosh, I wish I was like this person. They have such a huge following. I should do what they do, even if it's not really me. Or yeah, I'm just doing freaking awesome. I'm 6 months in the business and it is amazing. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to pay my electric bill. It's fake. It's not real. It's not genuine. Why do we do this, agents? Why do we feel like we have got to portray and put into the world something that we're not? Why do we think we can't be authentic in our journey? Why do we think that we can't tell people, you know what? It's been a tough month. Why do we think that we have to mimic what another influencer is doing, or the agent down the office who has got all these deals going on? And I hate the word deals, but it's just, this is a business conversation here. All the transactions, what is she doing that I'm not doing? Oh, I'm not comfortable with that, but that's not my personality. And gosh, I don't really vibe with that, but you know what? I'm going to be just like her. Why do we do this? A couple of reasons. And you all know this, and I'm going to scan through a couple of these things, and I want to get to some tactical stuff for you. It's a keeping up with the Joneses mentality, right? And we do this in real estate. We do this in sales. We want to keep up with the top producers. We want to grow our business. But what begins to happen is, again, I've said this, we try to be like the influencers. I got to be like him. I got to be like her. Or we got to be like that agent that has a lot of followers. Like how is Ryan Serhant doing this? For me, that's one. Several years ago, I was like, wow, this guy is awesome. How do I be like him? Ooh, what a horrible question. How do I change who I am to become like someone else just because they seem to have a bigger following than me? And just naturally, then we begin to replicate what other people are doing instead of being ourselves, which means intrinsically that dream customer of yours, which I'll talk more about later. You'll hear me say this a few times. That dream customer, that ideal person that should work with you because you value the same things, you believe the same things, you have the same goals in life, you shop in the same places and eat in the same spots. That dream customer sees you being fake, and guess what meter goes off in their brains? Immediately, their BS meter goes off. And so all of a sudden you have shot yourself in the foot because you want to become influential on social media. And the only way to do that must be to not be myself because I'm not good enough. So I got to be like someone else, which then means you're like all the other gross advertisements and marketing that you don't like. It's trying to get you to do something that's not being real. It is a horrific cycle that real estate tends to jump into. But where does this bloviation and BS come from? Why do you feel like you can't be yourself? Why do you think you're not good enough? Why do you think that if you're not going to be your real self, that you won't grow your business? What in your mind is making you think you've got to become someone else in order to get the kind of business that you want? I'm going to give you 4 reasons. Number 1, I think sometimes you just don't like yourself. And this is sad. It's sad to me. We lack confidence because all we focus on is our flaws. And so we look in the mirror and maybe we don't look like we used to look like, and that makes us insecure. And we don't fit in the clothes that we used to. And our sales aren't what they used to be, or our sales aren't where we want them to be. We are our harshest critic. We are so good at tearing ourselves down. And so we adopt the mentality of, you know what? I'm not good enough. I don't like myself. So that must mean that other people aren't going to like me. I don't like what I drive, and I don't like the house that I live in. And I don't like the life that I'm living. I don't like myself. I don't like my flaws. I don't like my awkwardness. I don't like the fact that I can't communicate well. I don't like that I'm not as good of a negotiator as I should be. And so because of that, we think, you know what? I don't measure up. I'm not good enough for my dream customer to want to work with me. So I've got to become someone else. That's number 1. Number 2, we start to compare ourselves. Why do we try to be like somebody else? Why do we try to mimic others on our Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and in our lead gen strategies? Because we're comparing ourselves to other people instead of running our own journey. So then we see the lady down the hall in your office that is killing it, and you wonder what she's doing and why you aren't as good as her. You hear the difference? Why am I not as good as her? As opposed to, oh, what can I learn from her and employ in my business and make it work for me? I'm not as good as her. You know what? I don't speak as well as he does. So therefore, I'll never be able to connect with my dream customer in the way that he does. So we see other people's Instagram accounts and we compare ours to theirs. And so naturally, because they have more, or they have more engagement, well, I must be doing the wrong thing. So I'm gonna do exactly what these other people are doing, even though they are not me. I don't stack up against them because I'm comparing myself to them. So I'm going to do what they do. I can't remember who said the quote, but comparison is the thief of joy. And again, we forget to run our own race because we're trying to run everybody else's race because we think they must be better than us. They have more sales. They have more followers. They get more engagement. They seem to be more influential in the brokerage. Therefore, I'm not good enough because I don't stack up with those people. So I must not be good enough to represent my dream customer. I'm going to become like you. Number 3. I think this is the most common one. You don't really know who you are. It's the whole self-discovery, self-reflection, find myself mentality. I poke fun at it a little bit, but I think that it's the truth. We try to become like someone else because we really don't know ourselves that well. We don't know why we do the things we do. We don't know why we're so insecure. We don't know why we have anxiety when it comes to generating leads or putting ourselves out there on social or trying a new lead gen tactic that seems to be working well in the office and making it our own and putting it in our own voice because we don't even know our own voice. I will pat myself on the back in one regard. I know that I'm a pretty good communicator. In person, I can be a little awkward. All right. I know it. It's just a flaw of mine. I work really hard on it. But when it comes to communicating and speaking, it's something that I'm gifted at because I'm self-aware enough to know this is what I'm good at. I talk about this a lot inside of my brokerage. I have a psychologist that I see on a regular basis, and I always promote this because I think that mental health, your health starts with your mental health, in my opinion. And for me, it's not, oh, I go see a psychologist because I'm crazy. Maybe I am. We're all a little bit crazy, but I go to my psychologist because she helps me understand who I am, why I do what I do. And a lot of that goes back to experiences in your past. It goes back to your rearing as a child. A lot of times we will bring insecurities into adulthood that we had in childhood because maybe we weren't as popular as we'd like to be, or maybe our parents raised us in a certain way. And so we will bring those experiences that we use to cope through childhood into adulthood, and they don't serve you as a realtor. They don't serve you as a partner. They don't serve you as a parent. And we don't understand why we do those things because we don't really know who we are. What do I value? What do I care about? What is important to me? Is it a reflection of what other people think is important to me? I love Jay Shetty. If you've never heard of Jay Shetty, write that name down, go follow the guy. Former monk, he's awesome. He has this quote, and I'm going to say it a couple of times because it gets confusing. He says that we become what we think what other people think we should be. I said that fast, didn't I? I do that sometimes. Let me slow down and say it again. We become what we think other people think we should become. And a person that really knows themselves, I mean, really understands who they are, they do not care an ounce of what someone else thinks of them because they are running their race. They know themselves, they like themselves, and they embrace their flaws. That's number 3. The fourth thing, and maybe this will hit some of you on the head hard. I think we are not authentic, which is the word, right? We are not genuine. We are not authentic. We run someone else's race. We try to become others because we truly don't understand the greatness that we already have inside of us. And you're going to have to pardon me here for a minute. I'm going to preach for a second because I'm passionate about this. My backstory is I used to be a preacher, a pastor. I'm not anymore because I love Vegas. And that lifestyle and the pastor lifestyle doesn't really link up very much. So that, and I'm a little more open-minded than your typical Southern Baptist. Folks down here in West Texas love them to death. But that ministry lifestyle didn't work for me because I like to have fun. Here's what I believe. And if you don't latch onto this, it's totally okay. You can take it and rephrase it and reframe it in a way that fits your perspective of life. I believe that you, being created in the image of God, are incredibly unique, are incredibly gifted, and are incredibly needed when you are yourself. I believe very much that when you try to become something that you're not, when you try to mimic what someone else is doing, when you try to bloviate and are not authentic and real and genuine, whether it's in lead gen, whether it's in conversation, whether it's on social media, that you are slapping your creator in the face and saying that what you did is not good enough. I don't like it. I'm going to change it and be something else. Now, I'm talking about business, personality. Obviously, there are many other directions to take this, which that's not the purpose of this. I'm saying that when you are not authentic in your journey, whether that's as a brand new agent, you are trying to convince people you're successful when you're really not. I'm saying that when you, as an agent, are so insecure with yourself that you just try to mimic what someone else is doing because you don't think you're good enough, when you are so down on yourself and beating yourself up so much that you don't understand the awesomeness that you were created to have, we become a caricature of ourselves we are not authentic, and therefore people's BS meter immediately comes on, and you are killing your business without even realizing it. You are an incredible human being. Your dream customer needs you. I think this is a point that we have to understand. Nod your head if you agree with this. There are a lot of idiots in real estate. And there are a lot of really good people that should be working with you that get linked up with these idiots because you're not being authentic. You're not being yourself. Now, the idiot isn't either, but they're putting on a good show, and your friend goes through a horrible nightmare transaction, and then people have a horrible image of what real estate is and what a realtor becomes. And if you would just be yourself, if you would embrace your awkward, and if you would embrace your flaws, and if you would latch onto your strengths, if you would just be who you were created to be and stop trying to become someone else, then those people, your dream customer, would be linked to you and have an incredible transaction. Because let's be honest, at BHGRE, we have a high standard of what you're supposed to accomplish. You're supposed to be the knowledgeable professional. That's across the brand, regardless of the franchise, regardless of the city. That's why I love this brand. You have the standard and the expectation to know what you're doing and to do a great job. And you probably do. But the problem is you're trying to be someone else and be inauthentic. So your friends, your sphere, the people you meet on Zillow or in an open house, their BS meter goes off because you're not being real with them. And you're slapping your creator in the face because you were created to be you, exactly you, and nothing else. So let's have some good news here, huh? I'm beating you up. Let me build you back up. All you have to do is be yourself. The truest, most authentic, most genuine you. The you that you were created to be, the one with all of the quirks and the one with all of the awkwardness and the one with all of the insecurities, because all of us have them. No matter how confident and secure a person is, they still have weaknesses. They still have insecurities. They can still get negative about themselves. That is what the world needs. Let's take this bigger than real estate. The world needs you being authentic. The world needs you being real. The world needs you being not being fake. And that will make you different. Most realtors, we know this, most realtors are part-time. Most realtors don't succeed. They certainly don't thrive. But the ones in your market, the ones I know that do very, very well, they are themselves. And that makes them extremely unique because most humans are not willing to be themselves. Now, does that mean some people won't like you? Absolutely. You know what? Carol, I don't know if I can cuss on this. Just shake your head if I can. Who gives a shit? Who cares? If they like you or not, I don't care. Guess what? I probably don't want to work with you anyway. If you're real, you will attract the right people. And this is a whole other conversation of generating leads and prospecting versus attracting and positioning. Generating leads is important. It's the most important thing we do. Prospecting is crucial. But at some point, you shift from having to hunt for business to attracting business. Business comes to you, and you'll never attract business if you're trying to be someone else. You will never attract business if you're comparing yourself, if you're bloviating, if you're faking it, if you're being full of BS. You will attract clients to you when you've had enough time in the business and when you embrace the you that you are. Your dream customer will come and find you. You won't have to go looking for them all the time. They will come and they will seek you out because they know you and they like you and they trust you. And when you create content on social media, because I think the tagline on this was how to grow your influence and engagement on social media by being real. So let's talk about that for a minute. When you create content that speaks to your real journey, guess who will latch on to you? People who are on a similar journey. And they will be attracted to you because you're being real. When you utilize your legit, real, authentic voice and personality in your lead gen, then that open house person will fall in love with you. And the person that doesn't vibe with you, so what? I mean, develop a relationship and refer them out. I don't know, whatever you got to do. But if you're being real, you attract the right people. And when you stop being a copy of somebody else, you'll stop attracting the wrong people. Suddenly you'll find your business begins to grow simply because you're being yourself. So before we get tactical and a little exercise here for the last 15 minutes, rest in this. When you are real, when you are genuine, when you are authentic, your influence and engagement naturally will grow. When you understand how incredible you are, how gifted you are, how necessary you are, how needed you are in your community and in your market, suddenly you won't be looking all the time at your competition. Suddenly you won't be so focused on what everybody else is doing. You'll focus on your journey. You'll focus on your voice. You'll focus on your efforts. You'll focus on being real. And then your dream customer will begin to focus back on you. So rest in this word. You, as your most authentic self, is enough. Now, let's get tactical for just a quick minute. Are we good on time, Carol?
We are great on time.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's get tactical then. Get out your pen and paper. So old school. Get out your phone or whatever it is you are using to take notes. And let's run through a quick little exercise. If my screen will share here. All right. Everybody see this? Fantastic. Here's the question. And this is going back to, I said earlier, one of the 3 reasons why people aren't themselves is because they don't know themselves. And I mentioned this phrase, dream customer, over and over and over again. This is a shift that I think is really important to make in the way that you think about growing your business is, who are my dream customers? Who is my ideal client? Who are the people that are my people that I get to be myself with? And this is kind of going more into a branding conversation. And what I'm going to try to do here in the next 11, 12 minutes is squeeze a 1-hour training into 10 minutes. So we're going to go really, really, really fast here. But this is an exercise in defining who your dream customer is. And the only way to define who your dream customer is to know who you are. So we're going to dive a little bit into who you are. What makes you tick? What's important to you? Because when we identify what's important to you, we then have identified what's important to your dream customer. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down 10 words that represent what you want out of life. And I'm sure you've done this before, but appease me and do it again. Let me give you some examples. This could be passion, love, adventure, honesty, fun, health, wealth, security, building and creating, leaving a legacy, wisdom. I'm just giving you some things to prompt you. Usually I'm giving you 5-10 minutes to think about these things, but I'm going to give you like 60 seconds for the sake of time. What are 10 things you want out of life? Put real estate aside. What do you want? These happen to be my 10. Ooh, I want passion out of my life. I get one shot at this thing. I don't want it to be boring, which goes down to the fun part. I want it to be fun. I want to have a good time. I want to surround myself with love. I want it to be adventurous. I want to do stupid things sometimes. Yeah, I want to make some bad decisions every now and then. Not terrible decisions that ruin my life. I want some adventure. I want honesty. I want people to be real with me. I don't want drama and gossip and bullcrap. I want real. I want people who look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Yeah, health is very important to me. I want wealth. I want security. I want to pass something to my kids. I want to be a wise person that people say, you know what? John is a good source to answer your question. I'll give you 30 more seconds. Okay. Now cut the list in half. You had 10, now make it 5. We're really figuring out who you are. What really makes you tick? Think it through. You got 10 great things. Get rid of 5. What are they? Here's my 5. Passion. It's hard to give that up. Love. I'm an emotional guy. Somebody love me. Give me a hug. Tell me it's gonna be okay. Wealth. Sorry if you don't like that. You're in the wrong business if you don't like wealth. Health. Got to have it. Fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm out. Okay, I'm moving you quick here. Ooh, I hate to do it to you again. Get rid of 2. Make it 3. You can only have 3. What are they? Health, wealth, and passion. Those are my 3. We're not done yet. Now we're done with that list. You've got your 3. Remember those 3. Now, and I'm sorry we're moving so fast, y'all. Like I said, this is usually an hour session. We're squeezing it in. I want you to write down 10 words that represent what you're passionate about in life. What are your passions? Let me give you some examples. I'm passionate about my family. My faith is very important to me. Fitness is very important to me. Friends are very important to me. Another F word that I can't use. That's supposed to be funny. My crew would laugh. Inappropriate. Apologize. That's why I'm not a pastor anymore. Travel. Very, very, very important to me. Photography. I'm not just throwing other things on here. Photography. Maybe it's dogs. Maybe it's the beach. Maybe it's motorcycles. What are you passionate about? If I bring up XYZ, you can roll with the conversation. You don't have to think hard about it. You got a passion for it. Give me 10. Now you know the drill. Narrow it down to 5. You had 10 passions. You cut the list in half. What are the 5? I hate to do it, but get rid of 2. Give me a list of 3. I'm making you really think, what's most important to me? Here are my 3. And we're not done yet. We're just starting to put the puzzle together of who you are. But spoiler alert, let's look ahead. You got 6 words right now. 6 things that mean a lot to you. I have a funny feeling your dream customer are going to have very similar words. Now, I want you to write down 3 things that keep you awake at night. What are 3 pain points, if you're familiar with this vernacular? 3 pain points. Is it your kids' education and safety? Is it your financial security in the future? Is it retirement? Is it how am I going to pay my bills this month? What are 3 things that keep you awake at night? Trying to scroll through here and see if you all look like you're done or who's asleep. Okay. You should have 3 pain points, 3 things that keep you awake, 3 pieces of anxiety in your life. Now, I want you to jot down 3 things that you dream about happening in your life. In other words, pleasures to move toward. And here's a psychological piece. This is a side note as you're writing things down. All humans are making every decision they can based on avoiding pain and moving towards pleasure. That's a side note. Every decision you make, I don't care what it is, you're buying a pair of shoes or dog food or a house, you're trying to avoid pain and move towards pleasure. And so is your dream customer. So is their pain point, I got to keep up with the Joneses, and there's this new subdivision that's popping up and everybody seems to be moving out there and I want to keep up with the Joneses. And so it brings me pain to stay in this home. So I got to move towards the pleasure of buying this new home. Just a little side note there for you. 3 pleasures: financial security, a vacation home in Omaha, Nebraska, or Lubbock, Texas. Spoiler alert, you ain't gonna buy a vacation home in Lubbock. Let's be honest. Deb, you know that. Buy a good Airbnb, though. 2 major universities in this city. Make a lot of money doing that. Is investing a pleasure that I'm trying to move towards. I want to invest into real estate. Not just sell, but invest as well. Get more healthy. Increase my fitness level. I can say this. I don't know much about COVID. I got the bad one, and I'm really glad that I'm in good shape. I was reminded how pleasurable it is to be in good shape. Is that a pleasure point for you? It may not be. Just trying to spark some thoughts in your mind. Okay. Now, combine your 6 words and your 6 pain and pleasure points wherever you're taking your notes. Circle them, whatever you got to do to where you can readily identify them and wherever you're jotting notes down. And congratulations, folks. Now we know a little bit more about who you are, and we really know a lot about who your dream customer is. Because what do we attract to us? We attract ourselves. We attract who we are. Usually, Very wealthy people hang out with who? Other very wealthy people. Highly successful individuals spend most of their time with other highly successful individuals. Very fit, healthy people generally spend time with other fit and very healthy people. Those who have the dream of living in a certain neighborhood are usually rubbing elbows with other folks who have the dream of living in the same neighborhood as well. We have identified the things that are most important to you. So this should have been a small exercise in self-discovery, but we have also identified who your dream customer is. And your dream customer should represent exactly who you are trying to attract. So now you know who to speak to, because all this is really about building your influence on social. So that's kind of what we're doing here too. We know who to speak to. We now know who to cater our lead gen strategies toward. We now know what to speak about in your social content. I just created 12 different categories of content for you on social media. And here's what that does. That teaches your audience who you are. And it attracts people who have similar visions, similar pain points, similar values, similar passions to you. And again, that's the difference in lead gen and attraction. I'm trying to help you attract dream customers. You still got a lead gen, y'all. But isn't it awesome to attract people who come directly to you? And well, I've said this, unfortunately, this is a teaser into personal branding session, which we don't have time for, but everything we just did boils down to being authentic. If you want to grow your voice on social, if you want to become influential, if you want to grow your engagement, if you want to grow your number of followers, if you want to attract the right people, just be yourself. Be real. I use this example a lot. One of our newer agents who is stepping out of the rookie realm and into a more experienced agent, she used to do a series on her Instagram stories called Confessions of a New Realtor. And she would tell you all about the things that are blowing up in her world on her transactions. She would tell you about the chaos of the inspection and a buyer not wanting to close on the home because of normal wear and tear and being upset about this and that and trying to navigate it. And she would tell you authentically about the ups and the downs. She was real with people. And guess what? People latched on to her authentic journey. She did not look at being new as a weakness. She used it to her advantage by being herself. Some of the best agents I know who are just hilarious human beings, they take their humor and they inject it into their social. They inject it into their lead gen strategies, and they embrace, you know what? I'm a little quirky. I'm a little weird. I'm a little funny, and I'm going to be real with you. And if you don't like it, sorry. Some of you may be much more on the serious side. You may be a little more analytical thinker. You may be more of an operator. That is not a disadvantage. If you will be real and communicate to people, here's the advantage of working with me. I can sit down and analyze the numbers for you and make sure that the appreciation rate that you're hoping to get in your investment properties is what you're actually getting into. I can digest cap rates for you because this is just the way my brain thinks. I'm just giving you examples of, while you may look at others and compare, well, I'm not funny. I'm not well-spoken like she is. My brain doesn't work like his does. It doesn't matter. Be you, and you will attract the right people to you when you are authentic. Carol.
Hey, John, can you unshare your screen?
Yes, I can.
That was amazing. I love this. I'm like overwhelmed with like what you just had us do in that short period of time. I mean, I want to hear from some of the rest of you as well. Like, did you have any like ahas in like coming up with who your dream customer, your dream client is? Like I just did. Like it was fantastic, and I think I've intuitively kind of know that, but to actually have confirmation that that is actually the people, and I start thinking about the people that I really connect with and really love. These are those same people. Like it's exactly that. So let's hear some questions or some comments or anything, any kind of feedback from
Well,
all
I'm
the
just
rest of
going to
you.
say what a hell of a way to kick off our authenticity series with that. I mean, that was really spot on, John. Thank you. I mean, you really nailed what it is to be authentic and how we need to relate that to our business and our day-to-day lives. I mean, it was spectacular. So as you know, you're the first of the next 8 speakers. And you guys see what kind of content we had ready for you for Paige? I mean, can you imagine what that was going to be like when it was going to be face to face? So thank you for doing this via Zoom, but incredible. Thank you. So
Thank you.
John, one of the things that you said that I would love to actually have you back, and Tim, I bet you're going to agree with me on this, is to do just 1 hour on the difference between hunting and attracting.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
That in itself was like, what a difference. And I don't think I said this at the beginning, but one of the things I was so impressed with when I first listened to your interview, and yes, you are a preacher and an incredible speaker, communicator, is that you take brand new agents, like license in hand, nothing else. And this is how you start them, is you're okay just the way you are. Let's leverage that. And I'm blown away by this. And I totally agree with Tim that this was a great choice to have you first.
The other thing is, I know that you do, you talk, how do we hear more from you? Like you were talking about your branding yourself, personal branding, all that kind of stuff. How, other than waiting for you to come back to speak to us again, how could we hear more from you?
Follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
I'll hit my BHGRE folks with a follow back for sure. Yeah, I post a lot of this content on Instagram. That's going to be probably the best way. And please DM me. I'd love to have a conversation about these kinds of things. I love real estate. I'm passionate about it. Helping people get to the next step. I mean, obviously, like Carol and Tim. I mean, y'all know your leadership is incredible. It's nice to have an outside perspective every now and then too, right? So yeah, hit me up on Instagram. I'll have a conversation with you for sure about anything really. I post a lot of our content on there.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, anybody else have any last comments, questions, anything for John before we wrap this up? Actually, we have 5 minutes left.
I have one question, John. John, where did you come up with the name of your brokerage?
Oh gosh,
Blue Realty.
It's a ridiculous story. I'll give the short version. So I love the color blue, and it's ironic that we're green now, but blue just represents being genuine, being full of integrity, being professional, being authentic. And NAR doesn't allow you to use adjectives and descriptors in your name. It's why Redfin isn't just red, they're Redfin. But I didn't want to attach anything else to it. So in order to get around NAR's issues, I took off the E, threw a line over the U. And when they called to ask me why I'm using a descriptor, I told them that our company name was Blah. That's the story. So
Tim's son's name is Blue, BLU.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just BLU.
Yep. That is awesome. Very, very cool.
Name, so.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see you more. I will say that. Do you have like one last, just kind of the heart of the watermelon that you think is if anybody can pull anything from this past hour that they can concentrate on just one thing, what would that be?
Something tactical.
Yeah, something tactical, like one step, like, because we get like overwhelmed and fire hosed with like everything that came out of your mouth, like was something that really is thoughtful and something to think about. However, like if you can just do one thing and take one thing and do that within the next 24 hours, what would your advice be?
You have 6 words, 3 pain points, and 3 pleasure points for your dream customer. So these are the same things that you care about, same things that they care about. I have just created a content strategy for you. The big issue for people not getting on social platforms and branding themselves correctly is I don't know what to post, right? That tends to be an issue for a lot of people. Well, the next part of this exercise is taking those 12 things and creating a content strategy out of it. But you have your content strategy. If you're going to post on Instagram and you are passionate about travel, well, boom, category number 1 is travel. And your next category is a pleasure point of investing in real estate. Well, boom, you create a 30-second video explaining the next great investment opportunity in Omaha. And if your a pain point is education level for your kiddo, well, then you sit down with a videographer and you interview a principal at one of your schools about why kids should go to that school and what they can anticipate learning in that environment. So you take those 12 things and you create what I call pillars or categories, and you just rotate your content strategy through that. You've got 12 rows of pieces of content based on your 6 words, 3 pain points and pleasure points. And you just cycle through them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, back up at the top. Now, if we were doing a legit branding session, I would squeeze that down more to like 6 categories. But tactically, to take this home today, you now have a content strategy that if you will stick to it and be consistent with it, you now authentically are attracting the right people. So
Yeah,
that I would say that's the tactical thing to do is you now have a content strategy, just begin it.
okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I completely appreciate all the time and effort and energy that you've put into this, and you're giving this to us, because it's a great gift and it will last for a long time. So it'll be up on YouTube probably tonight, and this is something that we will make sure that every agent in our company has access to and watch over and over. So, because I think that's the biggest challenge that we all have is like, am I good enough? And should I just be that person? Because look at that person over there. They're successful and they're not like me. Well, those aren't your clients. So I love it. Your message is fantastic. And yes, you are a preacher and you're really good at it. But I really like you being a broker manager and speaker. So you're available to us. I love that. So thanks so much. That's it. We're going to sign off here, and you'll be memorialized. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Grateful for the opportunity.
Okay. Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.